mind telling me like how forests are certified sustainable?
Yeah, we actually talk about responsible forest management instead of sustainable forest management because sustainability is really a pathway, and we like to look at what does it mean to be responsibly managed, and that looks at things like old growth and clear cutting and biodiversity and protecting water, a whole range of different characteristics that we want to see in a well-managed forest. And so we will set standards for responsible forest management, and then independent third parties will come in and audit the forest, just managing that forest well, and they will look at a whole range of different things: how many trees you cut down, how you're protecting the soil, are you using toxic chemicals, and if you meet the standards, then you are certified by that auditor, and then you can use the label. For example, all Kleenex in North America is FSC certified, and that means this comes from responsibly managed forests. Companies like Kimberly-Clark really want to demonstrate real high values around responsible use of forest products because that is their business. They want to be in business for a long time, and they believe in well-managed forests. So they have a strong policy that says we will buy as much FSC certified fiber as we can get, and we encourage landowners to get their forests certified to those standards, those high standards, so that we can buy that fiber, and that sort of creates a virtuous circle of landowners who want to be certified in order to sell to companies who want to buy certified product.
How long would it take for a company to become certified?
Well, so we have two kinds of certification. We have a forest management certification, and we have a chain of custody certification. The forest management certification is looking at how you manage your forest, and typically a company will have an auditor come out. That auditor will find some things that need to be changed. They issue what's called corrective action requirements, and then you have up to a year to correct those, whatever they find, and then you can get certified. But how long it takes, the audit itself typically takes a couple weeks. There's usually some work ahead of time. It depends a lot on how many acres. If you're certifying 1 million acres, that's different than if you're certifying 10,000. And the size of the company, the diversity of the products they're selling, all that. On the chain of custody side, it's more of an accounting standard to make sure that the product you take in as FSC certified, say 2x4s, you can keep those in a separate pile and you know where they are, and then when you sell them, they're also the same FSC certified 2x4s. And that can take, call it a few weeks to a couple months. The issue of time is less significant than how well are you managing your forest right now, and what kind of changes are you going to have to make in order to get certified. And if they're big changes, then it might take you longer to get there. But typically companies will do a pre-assessment and they kind of have a sense of how close they are, basically, and they might not pursue certification unless they know they're going to be able to get there, because they don't want to waste the time, basically.
Right. Do you ever find that companies, once they become certified, maybe they become a little lax with the standards and have to have their certification revoked? Does that ever happen?
It's not so common. It does happen sometimes, but it's less common because, first of all, we re-audit every year, so we check that. We also have a complaint system in place where any stakeholder who feels like a company might be violating the terms of their certification can issue a complaint to FSC, and then we will look into that and see whether those complaints have any merit to them. But I also think that companies that pursue FSC, once you start to use it, you're communicating to your customers that you are passionate and committed to responsible forest management. And so to backpedal from that and say, yeah, not so big a deal anymore is not so great, once you've started down that path. And that's frankly a big part of what we try to do, which is get companies to demonstrate their commitment to forests and forest management as a way to protect forests and keep them from being cut down and destroyed.
Is it really easy, do you think, for homeowners, like just anywhere, to be able to find sustainable hardwoods now? Or responsibly managed hardwoods?
Well, hard and softwoods. I think if you want to find them, you can find them. For example, in the Bay Area right now, all 40 Home Depot stores are selling 100% FSC in the lumber aisle. So that's pretty easy. There's also lumber yards that are in every community across the country that have FSC wood. And but the bigger, a more appropriate expectation would be that if you're thinking about doing a remodeling project, you can go to info.fsc.org and you can find a certified lumber yard in your area, especially if you're in a major city in the United States. And you can work with that lumber yard to source the wood that you need. You may not be able to walk in a given day and buy the entire package of wood that you need, whether it's 2x4s or plywood or whatever, maybe cabinet materials. But if you go in and you work with them, they can find that wood, whether it's flooring. Flooring is very available, and more tropical hardwoods are available, but some of them will take time if they're coming from Brazil or somewhere else to be shipped up.
And so you do certify in woods in North America as well as all over the world?
We're a global system, and we operate in every country where there are forests. So yeah, in North America, South America, Asia, Africa, Europe, and every continent. So the forest products industry is global, so we operate globally. FSC US is based in Minneapolis, and we have a US-based staff that represents our interests here, but we have colleagues around the world.
Do you ever experience any recurring issues or problems or concerns that maybe a homeowner or a buyer or even a seller might ask you guys about?
Probably the biggest challenge that people have is it's Saturday, they're going to build some project at their home, and they walk into the lumber yard and they can't find all wood they want right then at that moment, which is why I think having the right expectation of going in, working with the lumber yard to get the wood you want, planning ahead is important. Although you can walk into Home Depot and if you're looking for 2x4s and plywood, you can find that. If you're looking for more specialty products around flooring or cabinetry or furniture, then taking the time to order that ahead of time to do your research. That's the kind of expectation that a homeowner should have, but frequently, they got the day to do the project and they don't have the time to plan ahead, and that's maybe where some of the frustration would come. They want to do right, but they can't just walk into the store and buy it in that exact moment, which is increasingly, we have product on the shelf. But if you're looking for, Brazilian teak to make flooring out of, I would probably plan on, ordering that ahead of time, rather than expecting that I can walk into the corner lumber yard and just buy it. So.
Okay. Thank you very, very much for answering all
pleasure.
my questions for me.